Hey guys, if you're new to Deception Bytes, hit the like and subscribe button and be sure to hit the bell to be notified of future videos. If you wish to support the channel, the links are in the description below. Now, fasten your seatbelt. Here we go. Okay guys, I'm back and it is August 5th and it is now 7:58 p.m. Eastern Time. Now we're going to pick up from where we left off, but changing topic a little bit. There is a lot of news to get through. So, and also between the last video and this video, I had my supper. So if you see any crumbs or anything, I'm just saving that as a snack for later. So let's get into it. I also want to, let me see, where are we here? Okay, here we are. I also wanted to thank you guys that have seen fit to support me on Patreon or buy me coffee. I really appreciate it, and I always feel I have to make this disclaimer. You guys that are having trouble making ends meet yourselves because you're on a fixed income, whether it be disability or retirement or what have you, I do not expect you guys to feel any guilt whatsoever, because I know invariably somebody says, I wish I could support you, but no, don't ever say that. You're welcome here. You will always be welcome here. So yeah, I mean, I don't have advertising on this site, and so it does help me, but I don't want to have that help at the risk of somebody else going without. That would be very unpleasant for me, seriously. So I never want you to feel guilty at all, ever. Everyone is welcome here and always will be. So let's get into this, and I'm not going to say jaw-dropping, I'm going to say jaw-bouncing, because this one is a jaw bouncer. Your mouth will open, it'll hit the floor and bounce back up. Really. Okay, take a deep breath now. Ray welcomes Peter Strzok back to FBI. And yes, this is true, but I have a little different take on it than most people have, because I've seen the reaction to this on Twitter and so forth, and I'm looking at this in a totally different way. But let me read it to you first, at least part of it. Almost 1 year after he was fired from his top post at FBI, Peter Strzok is back in the building in the FBI's good graces. Strzok in the HQ building all the time, one FBI insider revealed. He is taking meetings or part of meetings. What? FBI sources confirm Strzok has been granted access to FBI facilities in Washington, D.C. and its headquarters building on numerous occasions since he was sacked in August 2018. Strzok has also not been stripped of his security clearances, an FBI insider said. He, Strzok, is getting in with a visitor's badge and is involved in meetings, one FBI insider said. Maybe they are all trying to get their story straight before things go public. Such things include declassification of the FISA warrant the FBI used to spy on the campaign of Donald Trump. One of the warrants is scheduled to be declassified and released this summer. However, FBI Director Christopher Wray is trying to delay its release, sources said, at all costs. While Americans were under the impression that Strzok was a disavowed FBI insider, that is not the case. Even top FBI officials are wondering how and why Strzok has been allowed to come back into FBI headquarters. Likewise, FBI sources said that when Strzok is not at the Hoover building, he has been holding meetings with high-level DOJ brass at a location across the street from the Bureau's Pennsylvania Avenue base. But why? Ray is not saying. The FBI fired Strzok, who helped lead the Bureau's investigation of Russian interference in the 2016 presidential election until officials discovered that he had been sending anti-Trump texts. The termination was a remarkable downfall for Strzok, a 22-year member of the Bureau who investigated Russian spies, defense officials accused of selling secrets to China, and a myriad of other important cases. In the twilight of his career, Strzok was integral to two of the Bureau's most high-profile investigations, the Russia case and the inquiry into Hillary Clinton's use of a private email server while she was Secretary of State. But when a Justice Department Inspector General investigation uncovered politically charged messages that Strzok had exchanged with FBI attorney Lisa Page, he was relegated to a position in Human Resources. Conservatives soon made Strzok the face of their attacks against Special Counsel Robert S. Mueller III's investigation of the president's campaign, and the FBI took steps to remove Strzok from its ranks. Now, excuse me. This is how I look at this. Do you remember way back, Q always said, trust Ray, rays of light, he would say. I don't see where that's changed anywhere. Now, he had a front row seat to all of this, Peter Strzok, and was involved in a good amount of it. So Q has also told us he is a cooperating witness. He is cooperating fully. And that's what I believe we're seeing here. I don't believe he's actually been brought back. I think he is now participating in taking down others. That's what I believe. I think that, I really do believe that, because I just cannot see Trump is not wishy-washy. He's not. And I could not see them getting rid of him and then bringing him back, and Trump being okay with that. So it has to be something else. It has to be. And a lot of people are getting upset with Trump and, you know, saying, oh, this is all a game of charades. Well, I don't think so. I think he is helping in some way. Lisa Page fully cooperated, and many others have as well. So I do think that he is probably, I think the leak has been stopped. I don't think he's leaking stuff out there. I think he knows that he is in big trouble and he better cooperate. That's what I think. And he's probably doing so in exchange for a much lighter sentence. That's what I'm thinking. I don't know. I would welcome your opinion, and please feel free to do so in the comments below, but that is what I think. And also wanted to touch on the AG Barr tweet, and people brought it to my attention that it was a parody account. But look, I make mistakes, but it seems to me that when that was first posted, it had a blue check mark beside AG Barr. So I don't know. I don't know what happened there, because when I go back and look at it, it just doesn't, it's not the same page that I looked at before. And I don't understand. Maybe it's me. Look, you know, who knows? I could have been having a senior moment or something, but I don't know. Not that I'm a senior, but anyway. Okay, I apologize for that though. And I don't know why I'm there. So I'm gonna get off of there and get onto here, back to here. All right, now let's go down. I love this. I absolutely love this. This woman's brilliant. Morgan Chambers. She says, teach your kids about socialism by making them clean the bathroom. Then pay them $10. Then take 7 of those dollars and give those $7 to their sibling who didn't work. I bet your child won't be a socialist for long. That's brilliant. It's brilliant. And actually, that is a very good way to teach socialism to a child. It really is. Anyway, I had to bring that to you because I just thought that was so awesome. Now, meanwhile, at the Democratic Socialist America Conference, let's listen to a bunch of triggered adults. Now, hang on here. Here it is. It says, thank you, comrades, for an exhausting, frustrating, empowering, inspiring, and necessary weekend at DSA convention. No matter whatever infighting or factional division we've faced, we are all united for democratic socialism, solidarity forever. All right. Now, let's listen. Okay, this is not the clip that I was thinking it was at all. Here it is. Here we go. Okay. Now, where is that? There it is. This is the one. This is the one. Take a listen.
Quick point of privilege. Quick point of personal privilege.
Yes.
Guys, first of all, James Jackson, Sacramento, he, him. I just want to say, can we please keep the chatter to a minimum? I'm one of the people who's very, very prone to sensory overload. There's a lot of whispering and chatter going on. It's making it very difficult for me to focus. Please, can we just, I know we're all fresh and ready to go, but can we please just keep the chatter to a minimum? It's affecting my ability to focus. Thank you.
Thank you, comrade. Okay, is there a speaker against name or chapter pronouns?
Point of personal privilege.
Yes.
Please do not use gendered language to address everyone.
It's actually, like, honestly, if you didn't know better, you would think this was a parody of some sort against social justice warriors. You know, because they're always triggered about everything. So, you know, first a guy says, point of personal privilege, keep the chatter to a minimum. I can't focus. Too much chatter, whatever. Second guy, point of personal privilege. Stop using gendered language. Like, I mean, unbelievable. I'm surprised somebody didn't raise their hand and say, point of personal privilege. Turn the heat down. I'm in menopause. Please. You know, everybody has something. It's all about them. Okay, that's it. I just had to show you that because personally I think it's funny. And oh, that's me. I was like, it threw me off there for a minute. Okay, what the heck am I doing? Really, seriously, these are the comments on my video, not I don't want to go back and start this over again because I had to start it over again like 5 times because I was just goofing off. All right, now let's look at this, shall we? Well, of course we shall. I hate these advertisements. What the hell? Joe Biden mourns mass shootings in EP and Dayton as tragic events in Houston and Michigan. Come again? Wow, this guy is lost. Joe Biden spoke to supporters last night at a fundraiser in California. The former vice president mourned the victims of mass shootings in Houston and Michigan. Yeah. Oh gosh, the man is a walking gaffe machine. Well, among other things. Unbelievable. And yet, totally believable. Totally. Okay, let's go back now. And let's look at this. Oh, Banana Republic is just joining the ranks of others now. Banana Republic starts selling hijabs, joining Nike and Macy's. And, you know, I went shopping in, well, it's a little suburb of Toronto, actually. And I was just looking through stores and there were hijabs everywhere for sale in all the women's dress shops. It was just, I guess I shouldn't be shocked because there's a large population in Toronto, but it did shock me. It did. All right. Now, Banana Republic is the latest major retailer to sell hijabs, the Islamic head covering for women. Although the company has been praised for its new products by CAIR, it also faces backlash from the Islamic community for showing models in hijabs dressed in short-sleeved t-shirts and other clothing not in line with Islamic dress codes. Collective eye roll, please. I'm sorry, that deserves another one. Okay, the clothing company began selling hijabs in late July, following in the footsteps of Nike and Macy's. Banana Republic's site currently features 4 hijabs in solid colors, as well as leopard and floral prints, ranging in price from $39.50 to $49.50. Well, they're reasonably priced. Banana Republic is owned by Gap, which also owns the Old Navy brand. The new line of hijabs has already sparked backlash from some members of the Islamic community who have faulted Banana Republic for showing hijab models wearing short-sleeved t-shirts and a side-slit dress. No. Neither of which conform to the Islamic dress code, according to an article in Vogue Arabia. The report said Banana Republic has since removed images that were deemed offensive. Well, naturally they would. The Council for American Islamic Relations, CAIR, has praised Banana Republic's decision to sell hijabs. Retailers react to the market, and obviously people want to buy that particular product, or that's what Banana Republic believes. CAIR's communication head, Ibrahim Hooper, told, Ibrahim Hooper told CBS News, "I think it's a healthy sign of inclusion and recognition of the growing American Muslim market, and it's a positive sign." Nike began selling its branded athletic hijabs. Now, that's an oxymoron. And for those of you that are not up on your English, an oxymoron is putting 2 words together that don't belong together. Athletic hijabs. Kind of like giant midget shrimp. Okay. Macy's began carrying hijabs last year, featuring items from the Verona collection, a modesty wear line co-founded by fashion photographer Lisa Vogel, who is a convert to Islam. So, yeah. Now, you know what? It's true. They're going to respond to the market, and obviously there are Islamic women in America, and they do need to buy attire from somewhere. So it's not just that. It's just, they make the high, but then they complain because it's, this isn't modest enough. It's not modest enough. All right. Okay, let's go back here. Now, here's another thing that's going to be jaw bouncing. No, really, it is. Jeffrey Epstein selling creepy helicopter built for cuddling. It's the... I'm sorry, I know I'm making fun of this, but it's the CUDDLE-copter. I can't even say that with a straight face. The CUDDLE-copter. Coming to an airport near you. I hope not. Yes, well, let's see some pictures of this CUDDLE-copter, shall we? Yeah, looks pretty cuddle. I mean, you could facilitate cuddling quite nicely in it, I'm sure. My gosh, look at that cockpit. Unbelievable. And people know how to fly these things. That would just confuse me. Anyway, there is the CUDDLE-copter, or well, I guess that's as good a name as any. Wealthy convicted pedophile Jeffrey Epstein is selling off his fancy helicopter, which he allegedly used to shuffle young women and girls to the Hamptons and to his private jet at Teterboro Airport in New Jersey from his Manhattan party pad. The sex offender is asking about $3 million for his sleek 2008. Now, listen. I just want to throw this out there because I don't know who's listening to this. There could be multimillionaires. There could be a billionaire. I don't know who's listening to this, but I know some of you who are, but I'm just going to throw this out there. If you're thinking about this, if you're looking at this and saying, you know what, that CUDDLE-copter, that's a bargain, $3 million. I'm going to buy it. Just make sure you take the luminol. You can actually buy it on Amazon and just turn the lights out and spray it everywhere. And you might want to burn those seats. you know, if a lot of stuff shows up, you might want to burn it, you know, the seats, and reinstall different ones. I'm just saying, I'm putting that out there. So, it's a sleek 2008 Sikorsky S-76, which creepily is outfitted with 2 to 4 divans that face each other rather than individual seats, so passengers can cuddle up, and he could fit 8 on board. Isn't that special? We're told Epstein is selling the chopper at a deep discount because he needs liquid assets to post bail. He's probably selling it at a deep discount because there are liquid assets in it. So anyway, that's where the luminol comes in. Yeah, he needs the money for his lawyer because his legal bills could reach $100 million. So that $3 million will really make a dent in it. Okay, so yeah. While a used 2008 Sikorsky S-76 can command prices of $5 million to $6 million, there's a catch with Epstein's chopper. The tail number bears his initials. Any buyer would have to contend with the distinctly undesirable vanity number 722JE, a reminder of the copter's potential involvement in charges of child sex trafficking against its former owner, although it is possible to change a tail number under new ownership. Yeah, so I'm not going to spend any more time on him and his CUDDLE copter any longer. No. Bye-bye. Let's go back. The CUDDLE copter. Bet people are lining up for that. I bet you they're not. Okay, let's look at this. Now, I may have hit on this before. I don't know, but in case I haven't, I thought you should know it. Harvard scientist funded by Bill Gates to begin spraying particles into the sky to dim the sun. Haven't they already been doing that? Dimming the sun. What could possibly go wrong? No, we are not a satire site. We are not a conspiracy theory site. The information you are about to read is factually accurate and 100% real, despite the ostensible skeptics who claim otherwise. The controversial subject of geoengineering or weather modification, which was popularized and oversimplified with the term chemtrails, is once again stepping from the shadows and into the light of public scrutiny. And it may soon be a reality as Harvard scientists plan first ever experiment to spray particles in the sky to dim the sun. Now, I don't think any of us are stupid enough to believe that this is the first time, because they've been doing that for a very long time. Very long time. Gosh, I remember when I first moved to the States, it was just a couple years. In fact, it started, I was in Charlotte, North Carolina, and we started to see very strange things in the skies there. All sorts of really weird things, like, like you'd look and there'd be like these clouds, like rainbow clouds, And then when I moved up to the mountains in North Carolina, I saw it big time. Big time. And I remember when I was at college, I would just lay in the grass and watch them. So yeah, it's been happening a long time. This isn't new. What was once a conspiracy theory is now the subject of congressional debate, peer-reviewed studies, and now a Harvard experiment. Harvard scientists will attempt to replicate the climate cooling effect of volcanic eruptions with a world-first solar geoengineering experiment. The university announced this month that it had created an external advisory panel to examine the potential ethical, environmental, and geopolitical impacts of this geoengineering project, which has been developed by the university's researchers. According to Nature magazine, Louise Bedsworth, executive director of the California Strategic Growth Council, a state agency that promotes sustainability and economic prosperity, will lead the Harvard advisory panel, the university said on the 29th of July. The other 7 members include earth science researchers and specialists in environmental and climate law and policy. What was once a conspiracy theory will soon be a reality any day now. Well, it's already a reality. It is. And it has been for quite a while. So I don't know what they're trying to pull. Trying to tell us that, no, this is the first experiment. Really? Sure. Okay. Well, I'm not going to read any more of that because it sounds so familiar to me. I feel like I've already covered it, but sometimes, sometimes I think I covered something and didn't. All right. Now, let's look at this. I told you there's lots of news, lots of news. Well, anytime now. Church of Scientology sued for child abuse and human trafficking. It's about time. One of the most corrupt organizations on the face of the planet. The Church of Scientology and its leader, David Miscavige, have been accused of child abuse and human trafficking by several former members, according to a lawsuit filed Tuesday. The suit was filed in Los Angeles County Superior Court and will be the first of many lawsuits against the church, according to lawyers representing the victims. The team of attorneys filed the suit on behalf of defectors who said they suffered a range of exploitation, from child abuse, human trafficking, and forced labor to revenge tactics related to the church's fair game policy. MiamiHerald.com reports the lawsuit filed in Los Angeles Superior Court on behalf of an unnamed Jane Doe, born in 1979, outlines her lifetime of alleged suffering in Scientology, where she was subjected as a child at the Clearwater headquarters to abuse inherent to auditing, Scientology's spiritual counseling that can more resemble interrogation or torture. It states she joined the church's Clergy Like Sea org in California at 15, where people worked 100 hours a week for $46. Gee, that's not abuse. She was at times held against her will. When she officially left Scientology in 2017, Doe was followed by private investigators and terrorized by the church as it published a hate website falsely stating she was an alcoholic dismissed from the sect for promiscuity, according to the complaint. This isn't going to be the last of the lawsuits being filed, Philadelphia-based attorney Brian Kent told the Tampa Bay Times, declining to say how many more are forthcoming. We've seen what can happen when there is truth exposed in terms of child abuse within organizations. You've seen it with the Catholic Church. You're seeing it with the Southern Baptist Convention now. We're hoping for meaningful change. The legal team is made up of lawyers from Laffey, Busey and Kent, LLP, and Soloff and Zervanos, PC of Philadelphia, Thompson Law Offices in California, and Child USA, a Philadelphia-based nonprofit dedicated to preventing child abuse. Scientology spokesperson Ben Shaw and Karen Powell did not respond to an email or phone calls for comment. Well, naturally they wouldn't. Kent said Doe's name was withheld to protect her from additional public harassment by the church. The lawsuit mirrors abuse defectors have alleged over the decades since science fiction writer L. Ron Hubbard founded the church in 1953. Miscavige took over as leader following Hubbard's death in 1986. The Church of Scientology presents a facade to the outside world to disguise what in reality is nothing more than a cult built on mind control and destruction of the independence and self-control of those drawn into its sphere. The lawsuit states members are isolated from the outside world, their access to information is heavily monitored and controlled, and they are subject to physical verbal, psychological, emotion, and or sexual abuse and or assault. The FBI investigated Scientology for human trafficking in 2009 and 10, but did not file charges. Doe was born into a Scientology family and lived at the church's international spiritual headquarters in Clearwater from age 6 to 12 as a member of the Cadet Org, the organization's clergy for children. There she endured military-like conditions where she worked and cleaned from 8 a.m. to midnight without proper schooling, according to the complaint. Wow. Now, there's more of this, but it's very, very long article. This is newspunch.com, and you should be able to find it there. Church of Scientology sued for child abuse and human trafficking. All right. Now, let's go back. I'm glad to see this happen. What is her name? She was in she was in a sitcom, and I can't even remember the name of that. Oh, the King of Queens. Wasn't she in King of Queens? And she was part of Scientology and left, and she has also spoken extensively of her dealings with the cult, and she's a really good one to listen to if you want to know more about what they're all about. None of it is good. Okay, let's look at this now. Okay, AOC's just resigned chief of staff is under federal investigation. Yes, he is. It looks like we have an answer for why Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, chief of staff, abruptly resigned on Friday. He's under federal investigation. According to the New York Post, Psycat, I can't pronounce his name. Let's just call him SC. The architect behind AOC's meteoric rise from bartender to ballbuster is being investigated in connection with two political action committees he founded. The two PACs being probed, Brand New Congress and Justice Democrats, were both set up by that guy to support progressive candidates across the country, but they funneled more than $1 million in political donations into two private companies that guy also incorporated and controlled, according to the Federal Elections Commission filing and a complaint filed in March with the regulatory agency. In 2016 and 2017, the PACs raised about $3.3 million, most enough to buy Jeffrey Epstein's CUDDLE. Look at that. Yeah. Who knew? Raised about $3.3 million, mostly from small donors. A third of the cash was transferred to two private companies whose names are similar to one of the PACs, Brand New Congress, LLC, and Brand New Campaign, LLC. Federal campaign filings show. And that from the New York Post. As the Post notes, PACs are required to adhere to stringent disclosure rules, while the private companies that guy funneled money into are not. According to a complaint filed by Virginia government watchdog group, the National Legal and Policy Center, that guy, his LLCs appear to have been specifically designed to circumvent federal reporting requirements. As noted by the Washington Examiner in March, the cash transfers from the PACs, overseen by that guy, the freshman Socialist Democrats chief of staff, run counter to her pledges to increase transparency and reduce the influence of so-called dark money in politics. That guy's companies appear to have been set up for the sole purpose of obscuring how the political donations were used. The arrangement skirted reporting requirements and may have violated the $5,000 limit on contributions from federal PACs to candidates, according to the complaint filed by the National Legal and Policy Center, a government watchdog group. According to the Post, federal authorities are looking at new salary rules imposed by Ocasio-Cortez when she took office earlier this year, and whether they were put in place to let that guy, dodge public financial disclosure rules, according to sources. Interestingly, the Harvard-educated that guy agreed to take a massive pay cut this year, taking just $80,000, while the average pay for his position is $146,830. With a salary below $126,000, he was not required to disclose his outside income, and now he's under federal investigation. And I think that that's wonderful. I think that, you know, if you're going to break the rules, you should be held accountable, no matter who you are, no matter what you stand for, whether you're left, right, or in between. You break the rules, you know, you do the crime, you do the time. All right, let's go back, because there's more. There's always more. Okay, now this from Paul Sperry. Breaking. DOJ IG Horowitz is investigating who in the senior ranks of FBI and DOJ, including Rosenstein and Yates, knew that Bruce Orr was back channeling anti-Trump dirt from Steele to the FBI after Steele was terminated by the FBI as a confidential source, or is fully cooperating in the probe. So that's good news that he's cooperating. I think a lot of these people are cooperating because I don't think they have any choice, really. If you know you're caught, are you going to cooperate, and so that, you know, things will go a little bit better for you? I would. Well, I would try not to get into that situation in the first place, is actually what I would do. Now, let's look at this. No, really? Let's. Okay. This from Breitbart, former Google engineer. Google will try to prevent Trump from being re-elected. Well, I know, you're probably saying, you know, no kidding. But interesting that he says that. Friday on Fox News Channel's Tucker Carlson Tonight, former Google engineer Kevin Chernecki argued there was political bias within the tech giant. No. Really? Oh my gosh. Not Google. Oh, certainly they couldn't be biased. Really? Chernecki claimed to have been bullied and ultimately fired for his right-wing beliefs. However, Chernecki said it was his view that Google would attempt to thwart President Trump's re-election in 2020. Partial transcript as follows. Carlson. Excuse me, I'm not picking my nose. Really, I'm not. It's highly okay. How ideological is the management at Google? It's highly ideological. Yeah, I stumble over words sometimes. You know, get over it. You can see bases at every level at the organization. Bias. I'm sorry. You can see bias at every level at the organization. One thing I noticed, that just handling routine issues is plagued with bias. Like they will get a report, an email with a liberal reporter complaining about something, and they will jump on it and they will fix the issue very, very quickly. In contrast, one thing that I saw when I worked there was if you do a Google search for Crippled America, which is Donald Trump's book, you would get results that would show Mein Kampf instead of Crippled America. And I reported that I fixed a bug. I escalated it. I tried to run it up the chain. They took 9 months to fix that bug. They just stalled at every opportunity. They assigned it to people who no longer work there. They make every excuse in the book to avoid taking down something that made Donald Trump look bad. And I saw a number of incidents just like that. Carlson, do you think that Google will attempt to influence the election outcome? Attempt to prevent Trump from being reelected? Chernecki, I do believe so. I believe that's a major threat. They have openly stated that they think 2016 was a mistake. They thought Trump should have lost in 2016. They really want Trump to lose in 2020. That's their agenda. They have very biased people running every level of the company. They have quite a bit of control over the political process. That's something we should really worry about, and I agree. You know, because I know some people argue, they say, well, you know, okay, so they're biased. Just about Everybody uses Google, just about everybody. And I mean, I don't, but well, I do sometimes actually. So yeah, if Google is suppressing one whole side of the argument, that gives a leg up to the opposite side. It just, and it's not just Google, that's the thing, it's all the tech giants. They're all doing this. And yet still, they couldn't beat him. Even with all that bias, they couldn't beat him. And he's still popular, regardless. All right. Well, let's go back. Okay. What am I doing? I don't know. All right. Okay. Let's look at this. Now, this will bounce your jaw. I'm just saying. It'll bounce your jaw. Well, maybe not. Maybe it won't. We have become accustomed to this sort of thing. Why did Tony Podesta's ex-wife, Heather Miller Podesta, wear this to a White House Correspondents' Dinner? Well, let's take a look. What's she wearing? Oh, look. Goat hooves. It's a goat man, like Baphomet. That's what she's wearing. Baphomet. Isn't that special? Paying homage to her god. That's what she's doing. There it is, close. Now, I don't know what is right here in his hand, but this is a man with goat legs. It is Baphomet. That is, there's no denying that's Baphomet. Yeah, okay. I guess that's acceptable if you're Tony Podesta's ex-wife. I don't know. It all baffles me, to tell you the truth. Okay, and let's look at this now, shall we? Federal lawsuit. Joe Biden's brother accused of defrauding rural healthcare company. And look at his brother. Boy, they do look alike. Former Vice President Joe Biden's younger brother James is being accused of defrauding a Tennessee rural healthcare company. A lawsuit filed in federal court late last month, alleges James Biden, who has a history of murky financial dealings. Murky. That's an odd word, isn't it? Murky. Anyway, and his associates deceived and defrauded two Tennessee businessmen. I'm just reading things that aren't even there now. Michael Frey and his business partner, Dr. Mohammed Azam, brought the suit, claiming James Biden and his associates promised and failed to line up investors for their rural healthcare enterprise. Instead, the suit alleges James Biden urged the two men to borrow $10 million from a hedge fund manager involved in the deal, and then proceeded to pass their idea off as his own to a conglomerate of Turkish investors. That was nice of him. The lawsuit takes direct aim at Biden, painting him as a con artist who uses his ties to his brother, now a Democratic candidate for president, to lure his victims, the Knoxville News Sentinel reported. According to documents filed with the U.S. District Court, Frey and his wife developed a business model to take over rural hospitals and retrofit them to not only offer traditional hospital care, but also drug addiction and mental health treatment. After incorporating the enterprise as diverse medical management, they brought on Azam, who contracted with nursing homes to provide medical care for seniors. The business model was lucrative enough that by 2017, Frey and Azam were actively pitching it to investors and hospitals across the country. One investor particularly taken with the idea was AmeriCorps Health, an operator of rural hospitals. At the behest of AmeriCorps CEO Grant White, Frey and Azam were urged to pitch their business plan to rural hospitals in Kentucky. It was at one such meeting where the two men met James Biden, who identified himself as a principal at AmeriCorps. Not long after their initial encounter, James Biden introduced the men to Michael Lewitt, a hedge fund manager and well-known credit strategist. Around this time, AmeriCorps made plans to buy Diverse Medical for the sum of $7 million. Despite the deal, AmeriCorps quickly fell behind on its scheduled payments to Frey and Azam. It was then that James Biden and Lewitt, as detailed in the lawsuit, hatched a plan to oust White and sell AmeriCorps along with Diverse Medical to a third company called the Platinum Group. Biden or Lewitt's role within the Platinum Group is unclear. The organization, which is little known and has no social media presence, is likely a holding company specifically set up for the purchase of AmeriCorps. Frey and Azam appear to have been uncomfortable with the turn the deal took, especially the notion of removing White. The men, though, went along with the plan after being told a payout was imminent. They repeatedly assured Frey that investment capital originating from and flowing through foreign entities was not only certain, but was imminent. Documents filed by Frey and Azam's attorney state. James Biden is alleged to have put the men at ease by playing up his political connections, the lawsuit reads. Biden promised Frey's intensive outpatient model would play an integral role in healthcare policy at the highest levels of the United States government. Since the deal has evolved to include the purchase of AmeriCorps, Frey and Azam were encouraged to take a $10 million loan, part of which would come from Lewitt's hedge fund to expand their business. Frey and Azam claimed the loan was taken with the understanding it would be repaid by money brought in from new investors. Throughout the entire process, the suit states, James Biden was promising investment capital. He was promising that investment capital was forthcoming. As more time elapsed and new investors failed to materialize, Frey and Azam became suspicious they were being set up. Those feelings only intensified when James Biden inadvertently sent Frey a text message about their company meant for someone else in November 2018. We can wrap AC into Frey's entity, further diluting them both in the process. After we take control of both, just a thought. The purported text from James Biden reads, as included in the lawsuit, we must have complete control. Too many moving pieces. Jim. When asked to explain, James Biden demurred and requested more information on Diverse Medical and the range of healthcare services offered. Even though they provided the information, Azam and Frey's suspicions were only further heightened. The final breakdown in the relationship occurred when the men learned that Biden and Lewitt had left them out of the picture when selling the deal in Turkey. Although Azam and Frey knew their business model was being pitched to the Qatar Investment Authority in Turkey, they were unaware the documents presented to investors by James Biden and Lewitt were scrubbed clean of the Tennessee businessman, the lawsuit says. I'm not going to go on here, but this is quite alarming, and seems like the Biden family is not too high on the scruples. They're not too high on scruples. Let's just put it that way. Because you've got the son who's addicted to cocaine, and then you've got the brother who rips people off for a living. Yeah. So, I don't think he has too much chance of winning anyway, really. He doesn't even know where the mass fruitings took place. Okay. Now, let's look at this. Okay, new. The Dayton fruiter was a Satanist, leftist, socialist, and Bernie Warren fan, and supported Antifa. Yep, he sure was, is, whatever. This is probably something CNN won't be sharing with its audience, but there's some pretty striking news on the fruiter who perpetuated the Dayton, Ohio fruiting, which followed an equally tragic fruiting in EP, Texas, by what appeared to be a WHITE, one of these. Heavy.com got access to the Fruiter's social media. Contrary to the media narrative currently boiling over, this Fruiter was not a Trump fan. In fact, he hated Trump, hated Republicans, was an avowed leftist, used ANTIFA style language in his posts, and loved Elizabeth Warren. I don't know how anybody could love, I don't know. I'm sure her husband loves her. I just don't care for her political stance. Here's some of what was found. Bet's Twitter profile read, he, him, anime fan, metalhead, leftist, I'm going to hell and I'm not coming back. One tweet on his page read, off to midnight mass, at least the songs are good. Hashtag atheists on Christmas. The page handle, I am the spookster. On one selfie, he included the hashtag selfie for Satan, hail Satan, Satan tweaking, or hashtag Satan tweeting. On the date of Republican Senator John McCain's death, he wrote, F. John McCain, vote blue for God's sakes. Ironically, he was even a rabid supporter of gun control, using it to levy attacks against Republicans. Yeah. This is America. Buns on every corner, buns in every house, no freedom but that to kill, he wrote in December 2018. And tis the pistol is a... Okay, I'm not going to read that. I really have to be careful. Do love me some buns. He loved his buns. And on February 14th, 2018, he tweeted this as Senator Rob Portman. Hey, Rob, how much did they pay you to look the other way? 17 kids are fruited. If not now, when? That was the date of the mass fruiting in, in Coward County, Florida. He used language often used by ANTIFA, exclaiming he wanted to fruit every fascist. He also liked and commented on posts expressing support for the group. And I'm not going to read that. He was a politically active socialist who supported Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders. Yeah. On the Twitter page, Betts indicated he'd vote for Elizabeth Warren for president, but not Kamala Harris, responding to a person's tweet suggesting they be co-presidents. Nah, but only because Harris is a cop. Warren, I'd be happy to vote for, he wrote. He responded to a person's tweet that read, if you nominate anyone other than Sanders, you're going to lose, by writing, I think Warren has a decent shot as well. Some of his tweets referred to buns. He was a fan of the squad, including Representative Ocasio-Cortez and Representative Omar. He shared an article that criticized Democratic leaders like Nancy Pelosi for not supporting AOC, Rashida Tlaib, and Ilhan Omar and Ariana Presley. Reddit, he wrote, he shared posts about concentration CAMPS at the border and wrote, cut the fences down, slice ICE tires, throw bolt cutters over the fences. He retweeted a post from another person about stealing from right-wingers at a Trump rally. This all leaves very little question about who he really was. He was absolutely a far leftist. He was not a particular color of this word right here, and hated religious people. He repeated ANTIFA as well as AOC's talking points on his social media. He was a global warming enthusiast and an avowed socialist. Every piece of evidence we have points to his radicalization coming via the left, not the right. To be clear, my personal opinion is that the fruiter is responsible here. It's a dangerous game to try to play, pin the blame on the politician when someone crazy does something evil, but this is the game the Democrats and media are demanding we play. We've been bombarded with op-eds and posts the past 24 hours blaming Trump and Republicans for these fruitings. That's a road that goes both ways, and it's fairly clear the DAYTON fruiter was radicalized by the politics of Democrats and ANTIFA. Now that we've learned all this, you can expect the media to stop talking about this particular fruiting and focus solely on the EP fruiting. Why? Because this isn't about actual care for victims. It's about disgusting politics. Yes, absolutely. I could not agree more. Now, let's go back here. And I am going to have to stop soon, but let me see how much more I can get in before I do. This by Wyatt, estimated 500K to 3 million saved annually from major morbidity or mortality through defensive use of buns. This study was commissioned by Obama. Compare these numbers to the appropriate 30K numbers of bun deaths. Oh, those buns can be deadly. Okay, yeah, sometimes I just realize the ridiculousness of having to speak in code, and it gets to me. But anyway, compare these numbers to the approximate 30K number of bun deaths they throw around. Half are suicides, and it's not even close. I would agree there. The numbers are very skewed. I remember looking into that and being shocked, because I started looking into it because people in my own family were saying, you don't support buns, do you? And I said, well, certainly for self-defense. I would never want to harm anyone, but if it was me or them, yeah. So I started looking into the numbers, and I was quite shocked at how they skew them. All right. And here, I'm not going to go out to this because of time, but the black youth unemployment falls to the lowest level in history. I'm sure Obama will take the credit for that, like he has for the economy. He says, oh yeah, I was starting to turn around when I was on the way out. This is all my doing. It's all my doing. Yeah, right. Okay. So yeah. Anyway, let's look at this. And this is another jaw-bouncing moment, because it's prophetic. It is, in a sense, almost such a sign. It is a sign, I believe. Let's look at this. Now, let's hang on. It says, here is your sign. You might be a traitor when your portrait falls and smashes to pieces while unveiling patriot, real Donald Trump. Awesome. Now, they're unveiling Trump's portrait, and as they unveil it, Obama's portrait falls to the ground and smashes. Let's watch this. Now, there was nothing that should have made it fall, because I watched. That black thing never even touched them. There was nobody near to even brush it. And I wouldn't think that they would be up that fragilely anyway. Seriously, you don't hang portraits like that unless you're going to do it properly, because they're supposed to hang there forever. Or for a very long time. Now, let's go back and just watch this carefully here. Okay, now, note there's nobody touching that portrait. This guy's close to it, but he's not touching it. And neither is this black thing. And it even gets caught on the corner and he yanks it, but Trump's doesn't fall down. Now, I'm just going to take this This guy's not touching it. That's weird. Yeah, this is in Colorado. Do you not find that a little bit weird? I do. Now, I know some of you may say, oh, that was staged. I don't think so. I really don't. Because would they wreck a portrait, a painted portrait of Obama to get a point across? I just don't think so. And these people are probably Obama supporters anyway. I don't know, but I do think it's a little odd. All right, now let's go back, and I'm trying to get through as much as I can. I'm only got a few more minutes here. Okay. Yeah, the rest, I think. Yeah, this is interesting right here. Okay, Toledo, Ohio is the third largest city in the U.S. for child sex trafficking and slavery. And remember, Trump misspoke, and he said the fruiting took place in Toledo rather than Dayton. And everybody said, oh, he doesn't even know where it happened. I think he did that on purpose. I really do. Because it's like they always seem to, whenever Trump does something like that, it's for a reason. It's always for a reason. So that's what I think. Everybody was making fun of him, but I think that it was for a reason. Now, I think I'm going to have to leave it there for now, even though there's so much more. But anyway, I'm going to leave it there for now. And again, just remember, I will not be posting tomorrow. There's a small outside chance that I may post, but it won't be with a webcam, because I'll only have my computer with me. So there you go. And I hope you guys have a great night, and I will be back Wednesday with the Q related news, or with Q. I hope he makes an appearance. I know they're working diligently to fix the platform and the chance to get them hosted and up. So we'll see. But anyway, that's it for tonight. Thank you guys so much for listening. You guys are the awesomest. And I will speak to you later. Have a good night. Stay safe, stay well, and please be cautious over these next few days, because it's quite obvious that the deep state is backed into a corner, and they're as unpredictable as a rabid animal. So please be careful. Always be aware of your surrounding, and if you're in a mall or anything, please just take a mental note of where the exits are. Really, I know this, I'd like to say I'm overreacting, but unfortunately, it's the way life is right now. So just pay attention, know where your nearest exits are and escape routes. So, all right. Well, you guys have a good night, and I will see you soon. Keep seeking truth, because you know it, deception bites.